Hello, children. That was weird. Okay, so today is gonna be an interesting day because I am starting a fast for the first time in my life. And the reason I'm doing this is because, as mentioned in my most recent video, January was a pretty crazy month for me, being gone with work. And with that is a pretty interesting eating style. Most of the work is catered, and some of the catering is not good. For real, I think I had some of the worst catering I've ever had in my life. It was just a pan of mac and cheese, and that was the meal. And when you're a kid, that's awesome. But you're trying to be a big and strong growing boy, that's terrible. On top of that, of course, the couple weeks before this massive work month is the holiday season with Christmas and New Year's and things like that, which is always not an easy time to eat well. There's a lot of drinking, a lot of things like that, and I just kind of felt like I abused my body. I felt like I gave my stomach a real difficult crash course in eating anything I can throw at it. I kind of like the idea of the things I read about using a fast to sort of heal the gut and let your body kind of get back to normal. So I haven't eaten since around 9 p.m. last night. I'm making some tea right now. Little fun fact, I do not have a microwave in this house, so I need to do all my heating either via oven or stove. So it's been interesting, but honestly, I don't really miss a microwave. Here's the tea stash. Ginger, that's good for digestion. Detox, that seems appropriate. I'm gonna do that. So there's a lot of different types of fasts you can do, whether it be for the length or if you just drink water or tea. But the one that I was very curious about was the bone broth cleanse. I had a friend do it who had the same motives as trying to kind of heal her gut, and she really recommended it. And I've been hearing a lot more about bone broths in a lot of the health communities, and so I figured I'd want to try it. Bone broth seems to be a staple of our ancestral diet, and I didn't know if I would be super down just doing only water. At least I can get a bit of nutrition and protein with this, and supposedly bone broth is great for healing the gut with things like collagen that kind of allow it the restorative process that it needs. I really want to try to do at least 2 days. That's my goal. Because I've never done this, I don't know how it's going to go, so I'm going to be a little bit lenient on that. But I'm aiming for 2 days, and then I'm going to slowly add back in foods, starting with really basic things like veggies and rice and clean meats and things like that, and sort of see how I feel. This little vlog will be my journal on how I'm feeling through all of this. Normally I'm up at the gym by now, and I tend to not eat before I go to the gym. I'll eat when I get home. So this really isn't that much different than a normal day for me. But today I'm going to be working out with my friend Eric, who's coming over in a couple hours. So far, pretty normal. So Eric and I, on our trafficked drive home.
Nashville traffic.
Nashville traffic that never stops. We're talking about vlogging, and I know I always say that I need to do a better job vlogging. And I promise I am trying to figure that out. I really am. Eric definitely thinks I can do it. I can do more. But what about? I'm not sure. But if anybody watching this has any ideas or things they wouldn't mind seeing or are curious about, please post a comment and let me know, because I really struggle with trying to figure out if there's anything else that maybe other people watching would like to see. We're in Whole Foods, and Eric is gonna hit up the deli just so that I can live through him. How about I pick out what you eat?
All right, I like
so
this.
that I feel satisfied.
Got you thinking
All right, how is this, Rick?
It's pretty good. so far.
While you're digging into that, I'm gonna pour myself a nice healthy bowl of chicken bone broth. So this is just something I bought at the Kroger down the road. For those of you watching this have no idea what Kroger is, it's a grocery store. Minnesota folk, it's like a Cub Foods or something weird. Okay, so while this bone broth is cooking, I thought I would read a little more of the health benefits that I came across the other night that I sort of glossed over earlier. So the reason it's so good for repairing the gut is because it contains glutamine, which helps repair holes in the gut lining, so it can once again become impermeable. So if you have leaky gut syndrome, for example, bone broth also is really good for your joints because of naturally occurring collagen and gelatin that it has a lot. Gelatin can take pressure off the joints. It's what acts as a cushion between your bones. Also, because of the collagen, it's really good for your skin. So it should help clear up your skin, and this also says it is good for your immune system because the amino acids released when making bone broth reduces inflammation in the respiratory system and improves digestion. So this is just something I read online, but all these things are consistent with the multiple other websites I came across earlier. Well, Eric, I'm gonna pour you a shot in this I Heart Sex shot glass.
Okay, let's get it.
A shot of bone broth. Okay, I poured myself a shot too because I felt like that was kind of rude to not do this appropriately. So
Cheers.
Here we go. Might be hot.
Oh, it's roasted.
It's warm.
It's pretty good though. I don't know if I can just eat this for 2 days, but
Honestly, it's not bad. It's like really bland chicken broth. Yeah, try it. Honestly, it's not bad. Alrighty, friends. Rick left. It is about 8 p.m. now. I don't feel that bad, honestly. A little bit hungry. Been having a little bit of bone broth. I'm really not too bothered. I miss food already, but I don't feel tired or worn out or any of that. So I guess tomorrow I'll see. In the meantime, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about this app called Zero that I've been using during this fast. I used it a little bit before previous months because I was trying out intermittent fasting, but this app sort of will help you keep track of your fasts. It looks just like this. You put in your start time and then it tracks how long your fast has been going. So I set this last night and I'm gonna keep it going the whole time just so I can kind of see how things are. But down here you can pick the different types of fasts and it'll tell you a little bit about a bunch of really popular ones. And then over here it'll sort of log all of your fast information, how long it was, when it was, how you felt. You can log your mood and all sorts of stuff. There's also a super informational section over here with a lot of things to learn about fasting, and this was really helpful for me when I was looking into it. So this is a free app. I am not endorsed to use this. I just heard about it somewhere online and figured I'd try it, and it's really great and it's free. And these days apps always cost money or they're a stupid subscription, so check this out. Good morning, it is 9 a.m. the second day of the fast, and Zero says I've been fasting for 36 hours. Honestly, I don't feel that bad. I feel pretty good. I'm a little bit hungry, but I feel like I definitely have a little more energy this morning than I normally do, and I'm about to go to work, so we'll see how that goes, doing some strenuous physical labor, and I will keep you updated. Oh my god, you guys. I'm just getting home from work right now, and I am struggling. I haven't had any bone broth since probably about 9 p.m. last night, and I'm starting to feel it, so I cannot wait. I never thought I would say this sentence. I cannot wait to have a big bowl of bone broth. I picked up a new kind last night. This is Kettle and Fire bone broth. I've heard a lot about this on podcasts that I've listened to, so we're gonna try it out. It's time. Well, that bone broth has held me over the last couple hours, but I can tell I'm really starting to get kind of like that achy, tired, exhausted feeling. like when you don't eat enough and then go to the gym and work out pretty hard and your legs are like shot because there's no energy left to feed your muscles. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Well, I did it. I made it through the day. I just got home from work. Honestly, there was a few times there where I was seriously considering eating food. I've just been craving it all day. I'm pretty tired. Granted, it is 2 a.m., but not so much in a mental way. I guess it feels more like physically tired. A little more mentally clear, which is expected from everything I read about fasting. At this point, I think I'm just gonna wait and eat tomorrow because I made a soft goal for myself to hit day 3. And at this point, there's no point in eating tonight, so I'm just gonna sleep and have a little something tomorrow morning. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. All right, fam. It is officially day 3. I have made it. Zero says I am at 61.5 hours. I made it to day 3, and that was the most important thing for me. But I've decided that I'm going to eat a little something, and my thoughts are this. I did a lot of reading on the length of a bone broth fast, and I saw a few things for 3-day, but I also saw other things for don't really go over like 32 to 48 hours. So I'm sort of like in an in-between window of those two things, which I kind of like, you know, if I research a few things and I find a couple options of information, doing sort of the median of those two. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. And I'd really like to go to the gym later today because I feel like I'm making some decent progress on my back and hip pain. So I don't want to be like completely burnt out and worthless for that. So I want to eat a little bit of something to sort of get me back on that track. And the last reason is I decided that when I start eating again, I'm going to sort of gradually add in foods and not just dive back in. I just sort of want to give my stomach a chance to sort of figure out what works for it and stuff. And then if anything I eat is kind of like not good for me, I'll be able to tell because I've been gradually adding in things. So I'm gonna start with something really simple. So this is an avocado mashed up. I'm gonna have that. And then I think I'm gonna eat a banana a little bit later. And then I'm gonna add some veggies in. And that's probably gonna be it for today. I swear it tastes so much better than it would normally. And this one's a little overripe. It's not a perfect avocado, so. Oh man. Normally I eat really fast and I like don't want to do that now. Like I want to like slowly take this in. All right, friends. As you can hear, Eric is playing piano in the other room, but we just went to the gym and then went grocery shopping. So now I'm gonna make sort of like my first meal after I had the avocado and a couple veggies earlier. So I'm making a zucchini soup. A soup seems like a pretty easy way to get into eating some bigger meals. Everything's soft, easy to digest. First things first, having some kombucha, restore some of that gut flora and all those good little tiny microorganisms. I've got bone broth heating on the stove for the base of my soup. And right here, got some zucchini and onions, along with a little vegetable soup mix. We're just gonna pour all that in there after it's boiling and let it cook for about 20 minutes. And I'll be right back. All right, and we are back, and I have also showered and changed. And we have our soup. Looks like a nice hearty stew. And pour it in this bowl. Slop, slop, slop. Maybe some of y'all might not be into this, but I think it'll be all right. It's pretty good, fam. Yeah, it's not bad. Obviously, I would like some meat in this, but it's not bad. Would recommend to anybody. It's hearty. The bone broth base really helps. Gives it a little more flavor, a little extra protein. So yeah, it's been a interesting ride. I cannot wait to eat more things. Okay, so it has been a couple days now since I've started eating again, and I just want to do a little recap about my whole experience with this. Overall, I would say that it was definitely a good thing for me to do. I do think that I got some benefit out of it. I definitely felt less bloated, which was something I was feeling pretty consistently with all the crappy foods I was eating the last couple months. I really felt like I was just like clean, I guess. There was no like crap in my body. Aside from that though, I didn't feel radically different. A lot of people say they experience a lot of mental clarity, maybe extra energy than what they're normally used to, and I didn't really get a ton of that. I actually felt pretty tired. I'm not really sure why. My theory is that I normally eat pretty clean in general whenever I can. So maybe a fast like this would yield a lot greater differences for somebody that might have a more radical diet with a lot more sugars and carbs and things like that. Overall, it was a good experience. Now, is this something you should do? I'm not really sure. If maybe you fall into that category of maybe not eating super great daily, I think there's a lot of value in trying things for yourself to sort of understand what people are talking about or what benefits people say they have. I think a lot of people form opinions about things without actually trying them and applying them to their own life. And that can be really dangerous because the only way you can really form an opinion about something is by trying it yourself. So maybe you eat pretty good anyways and you just kind of want to give yourself a challenge. That was an appeal for me. But make sure you sort of read up on it and do it safely. Some things you might want to do beforehand. These are things that I did, but a few days prior to the fast, I made sure to read up a lot on different types of fast and the type of fast that I was going to be doing with the bone broth. I began to sort of dwindle down the amount of food I would eat on a daily basis, which is normally quite a bit. And I also really tried to make it as clean as possible, a lot of veggies and things like that. So I was almost putting my body into a sort of feeling of what was about to come. And then during the fast, I think it's pretty important to not super overdo it. I went to the gym, but I didn't go very hard. I went to work, which wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. And aside from that, I just sort of laid low and tried to rest up because your body's sort of going through a lot of things, trying to figure out what it's doing and hopefully healing itself internally. So giving yourself that extra sleep or avoiding a lot of extra stress, I think, is pretty important. And if a traditional fast doesn't really do it for you, you might want to try intermittent fasting. I've done that a couple times. I have a lot of friends that do it, and it seems to be a pretty cool tool to have in your fitness and healthy lifestyle toolbox. So look into that if you want to know more. The app that I mentioned earlier, Zero, is fantastic for that and everything else in regards to tracking your fast. I'll put a link for that in the description. And I guess that was it. Just trying another new thing. I think there's going to be a lot more of those in the future, so I'll keep you updated.